Leroy Cruz here. Just got up from a nap. Um, I want to correct some things that I said on my last two videos about acrylic. Um, I know I sound kind of dumb because acrylic is just basic paint. I mean, um, starting off with the paints that you use for kids, the painting for numbers, is acrylic paint. And the paints that they use in the classroom with little kids to do little craft and stuff is acrylic paint. Okay. Um, and so acrylic is first, and then you go up. Um, you go to watercolor. That's next. Everybody knows watercolor. Okay. Um, and then after you go to watercolor, then you go to oil. Everybody knows oil. Oil is for the big boys. Oil is for the macho shots. The Michelangelos in our world. Um, you know, uh, I never had a problem using watercolor starting off. I just never drew anything really amazing with watercolor. Um, I gotta turn this fan off. It's making my eyes water. Um, Never drew anything amazing with watercolor. I just, if you've been watching my videos, I have a habit of making little abstract stuff, making little, hoses and boxes and all that stuff. And that's how I learned about these. I learned about just doing abstract stuff. Abstract stuff is how I really test out my mediums. But I really don't. Um, I'm still waking up. And it's in the middle of the night. The reason why I'm staying up is because I got to work 12 hours tomorrow, so I'm probably going to take a sleeping pill in about another 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, and then I'm going to try to sleep until like 4 o'clock in the evening, because I got to be at work at 7, and I got to work from 7 to 7, because we got celebrities coming in, so um, I I hate that shift. You know what I mean? But anyway, but anyway, uh, acrylic. I didn't really spend time on acrylic. When I first started off, I felt that acrylic was just because I've seen a lot of kids paint, and I'm just like, okay, that's acrylic. This is acrylic. Okay, this is confusing. Out my face. Okay. Um, but then I started seeing videos on YouTube. Thank God for YouTube. Videos on YouTube where all these people are using acrylic, and they really, 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 their heads are big when they use acrylic, you know. Um, and I'm thinking, okay. And then when they talk about watercolor, it's like, oh, it's so friendly and it's easy to break it down and blah 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 blah. Oh, watercolor. And then gouache is like the king came home or something. People talk about gouache. It's like, you know, it's like the new thing. It's like the new. It's like the king has gained more superpowers or something. Um, And now we got Acrylic Wash, and I have that in the closet. I have so many art supplies. I'm surprised that I ever complained to God about money. Between me living here and me living in Tarentum, Pennsylvania, back in 2014, 2013 and 14, I have a lot of art supplies. I brought all these art supplies here to Pittsburgh with me, and since I've lived here in Pittsburgh, I've bought a lot of art supplies. When I think about how much art supplies I bought just while I was living here in Pittsburgh, wow. You know, when I live about, 15 minutes away, 10, 15 minutes away from here, I was always getting boxes dropped off at my door, When the money was good, it all went to art supplies. Lord forgive me. I don't even have a car. When the money's good, it went to art supplies. Since I moved here, I've tried to slack down on how much art supplies that I buy, but between my instruments and my art supplies, this is my hobby. This is what I do. This is how I chill. This is how I get my sleep. This is how I refresh myself when I get home from work after working a 40-hour week. When I come home from my 2 days off, if I get 2 days off, okay, this is how I refresh myself, by sitting down and doing my little abstract stuff and checking out my mediums while I'm doing it, and plugging in my guitar, or fixing a string on my ukulele or whatever. This is how I relax. This is how I wind down. Okay? Alright, so the first thing I want to fix is that this is not Neocolor 2. This is Inktense. I was wrong about that in the video. This is Inktense. Inktense. Right here. Inktense, baby. And I have this set, and I have a 72 set. Okay? I might not be rich in money, but I'm rich in art supplies. Okay? I got both sets. I got the 36 set, and I got the 72 set. I got all the Inktense pencils. Plus I have a small set of blocks. Plus I got the paints. Okay? It's all Inktense, because I love Inktense. Even though the colors tend to be dark. I really, really, really enjoy Inktense. Out of all my water-soluble media, I think these are good for like drawing small and drawing like comics. I'm probably going to use the Inktense for my graphic novels when I get started with them. That's my goal. That's what I want to do. I want to do the graphic novels. I want to start my own graphic novel business, graphic novel line, you name it. But that's not Neocolor 2. I was wrong about that. These are Inktense markers, and this is what Inktense pencils, and this is what they look like. Let me see it. See, you can see it there. Derwent Inktense. I ordered the white because when you're using Inktense pencils and blocks, you want to use white, because the white, I'm going to move this. Move this. It's getting on the nerves. Put that there. Bring this light here a little bit. I don't know if that makes a difference, but it will for me, I guess. Um, you want to use, I can see where it caused a problem though. Oh yeah, with the light here, let me put it here. Put it right on me. Alright. Maybe it should go, maybe it should be pointing at the camera. No, it should be pointing at me. Alright. Whatever. There you go. Derwent Inktense if you're interested. And this is brand new. This is white. You can get these open stock. I got an extra white, and I have both whites in the two sets. But I got an extra white because if you look, if you know you're going to use a lot of white. Look, see how small. You're going to use the white real fast because ink tints are naturally dark. The colors are naturally dark, almost like oil paint. They're naturally dark. So you want to use a white marker with all your dark colors. With all your dark colors, you want to use a white marker, or it's going to look like Gotham City. It'll be a pretty Gotham City, but it will be Gotham City. The other thing that I mentioned before about water-soluble media like the Inktense Pencils and the Neocolor 2 pastels, which this is not, again, this is not Neocolor 2, this is Inktense. Okay? One thing that I mentioned before when I started talking about paper, I have a video where I talk about paper. Paper is important when you get water soluble media, and that's another thing. Acrylic and gouache, especially real acrylic, real gouache, the good brands, they can work out on any paper. You can put them on composition paper. Once they dry, they're going to look the same. Okay? If they're vibrant colors, they're going to look vibrant on black paper. They're going to look vibrant on composition paper, watercolor paper, Bristol. They're going to look vibrant because that's what acrylic is made to do. Again, I'm surprised that I passed this up on the way in. I'm really surprised that I passed this up on the way in. But when it comes to these water-soluble products like these markers and pencils, you gotta test them out on different papers. And I know that's unfair unless you know enough about papers. You need to test them out on different papers so that what they work best on, because like these are lighter on certain papers, but on most papers they're very dark, and this is why you need a lot of white. I would even probably even better yet use like a white pastel chalk pencil to get even more. It would be a little bit thicker than this. Now this is permanent. This is acrylic. Inktense are acrylic, says one video of a professional artist that I watch. Inktense are acrylic, but they're very dark because they're not like this acrylic that I just did 2 videos of. But these are acrylic, and this is why I got into the acrylic markers and that, because I like using pencils and markers and pastels, but I don't like how these are so dark on so many different papers. But like I showed you in a video, you can look it up, different papers that you get, these really work out better. Now, when you get the cheap brands of watercolor pencils and you get the cheap brands of pastels, like the markers that I just got that's supposed to compete with Tombow, okay, they're going to look bad on any kind of paper you use. They're not going, that paper is not going to, you could put them on, you know, glossy paper, whatever. Nothing's going to make them blend the way they should blend. Okay? But when you got real products like these and the Neocolor 2s and these acrylic markers that I just got, that I just did a review of, all you need is the right paper. Now, acrylic and gouache will basically work out on any paper because the chemicals in gouache, gesso is one of the chemicals in gouache, and not gouache, acrylic. And gouache has some of the same bindery that acrylic does. Especially acrylic gouache. Well, acrylic gouache is acrylic. It just has more of a matte finish instead of a shiny finish. But when you lay down gouache or acrylic, they prime the paper because gesso is involved in the bindery. So they prime the paper. Now gouache, it seems like, now gouache, you got to be careful what kind of paper you use too, but not as much as these, not as much as Neocolor 2, Inktense, and watercolor markers. Gouache is like, you know, the cousin of acrylic. I mean, you know, and there's again, there's gouache and there's acrylic gouache. They both are similar to acrylic. Only one of them's not permanent, and that would just be regular gouache. Regular gouache is not permanent, but again, acrylic gouache is everybody's favorite because it works just like acrylic, but it has a more matte finish instead of a shiny finish. I kind of like the shiny finish. Some of the stuff that I've played with, I can understand why they don't like the shiny finish, because when you're looking at a picture from back here, all you see is shine. You don't see what you drew. You just see shine. So I can understand, you know, where, you know, and that shiny finish, you know, if you got a painting on the wall that's done in acrylic, let's say on canvas, you might be walking by and you cannot tell what the picture is until you get right up on it and get right in it, because it's like, it's always, what's the word? Here we go with this again. We're losing focus here. Because it's always glitter, metallic looking from the side until you walk up and get right on it, and then you can tell what it is. And I've seen even stuff like this in hospitals and galleries and stuff like that, to where, you know, something was done in a shiny type of paint, whether it was varnishing or whether it was acrylic. When you got right up on it, you could see clearly. But from back here, when the picture's only 2 feet away and it's over here, all you see is the shine and maybe some colors. You don't see what it is until you get right up on it. And that's what people do not like about acrylic versus gouache and other forms of paint. Now, another mistake I made, well, it wasn't a mistake, I felt to say something. What are Neocolor 1? I didn't say 2. I said 1. Now, let me say again. Neocolor 1 and 2 have the same colors. Neocolor 2 has some colors that Neocolor 1 doesn't have. But Neocolor ones, you know what they are? They're China markers. These here are just little, colorful, tiny China markers. Well, they're not tiny. They're the same size as Neocolor 2. But Neocolor 1, did I say what is Neocolor 1? These are, why does that look blue? Is that blue? No, it looks blue in my camera. I need to really do some adjustment here. That looks blue. This is purple. Why is that? It looks blue in the camera, but it's actually purple. It's actually purple. That look blue to you? Looks blue, but it's purple. In my eyes, it's purple. Okay, what happens if I put a blue one over there? God, what's it going to do? Turn to purple? Okay, blue shows up as blue, but purple. I don't know. I guess this camera ain't all I thought it was. You think this is a problem? You should see. This is a cheap laptop. You should see the camera without the webcam. Oh Lord. What's green turn up as? It just got a problem with the color purple. Let me try pink. Try a little pink. That looks, yeah, that's about right. Okay. I'm right-handed. I'm right-handed, see? I'm right-handed. But when I'm recording, my right hand is on my left and my left hand is on my right. And so when I put something to the screen with my right hand, it shows up on the left. Now what you're seeing is the way it's supposed to be. But this camera, when it records from left to right instead of right to left. So like my window when I'm recording is on my right when it's actually on my left. This is my window right here. But see, to you it looks like, you know what I mean? And I have to remember when I'm looking at it, like I'm on the other side of this screen and I'm looking at it from this side of the table. Okay? Yeah, if I looked at it from this side of the table, then yes, this is the way it would look. But it's confusing when you, and my phone does the same thing most of the time, depending on how I have it set, whereas it's going from left to right instead of right to left like we are used to seeing photography. But okay, that's enough of that. But anyway, Neocolor ones, what they are China markers. That's what they are. China markers. If you get a China marker, you know, the China marker with the string, you pull the string and all like that, that's what these are. Now, China marker, you just use to mark stuff and maybe draw something, line it out, and then color it in, whatever. I love China markers too. Today, most people use them to draw with. Back in the day, my grandmother used to use them to mark everything in the closet and all like that. She used to use them to mark them with stuff. And she used to get mad, slap me and my cousins because we would go to the phone booth. She had a phone booth in her house, like a phone table, and she always kept a couple there, and we would take her China markers and draw with them and break them by accident and all like that. And by the time she found them, not only were they missing, but for so long a time, but they were broken. Once we broke them, common sense didn't tell us stick it in a pencil sharpener and sharpen it, or, you know, pull the string and, you know. And one of the things that my cousin would do is he would pull the string off the whole thing until it was naked. And I'm like, why'd you do that? I just want to see what was under there. Oh, Lord. Grandma's going to kill us, okay? But anyway, that's what these China markers are. Now, when you get China markers, or that's what these Neocolor Neocolor 1, make sure the water resistant ones are Neocolor 1s. The ones that work like water soluble pastels or watercolor are Neocolor 2. Make sure you don't forget that, because I'll be talking and I'll mix them up. But these are water resistant. These are China markers. Okay? And when you get China markers, you get two colors. You get white and black. That's it. But here, you got 40 colors in here. And they all correlate to Neocolor 2s. The same that are in the 40 set of Neocolor 2s. Now, you can get a total of 60 colors with Neocolor 2, I believe. It's 60 colors. The other colors you have to get open stock. They don't come in a set. You have to get, these are the water soluble ones, okay? The Neocolor 2, okay? They come, there's 60 colors altogether. The other 20 colors, you know, numbers 41 to 60, okay? You have to get open stock. You have to get open stock. You won't get them in a set. But the Neocolor 1s are simply little China markers. And you can draw with these. You can paint with these. What I do with them is I use and they go great on cardstock or any kind of paper. This is another thing that I love about these. You can use these on pastel paper. They go great on pastel paper because they are part of the pastel chain. Okay. You can use, these are like wax pastels. That's what they say here too. They're water resistant wax pastels. That's what they say on the tin. But you can use these on any kind of paper. That's what I love about them. This is dry media. You can use these on paper. You can use, they're not as easily to blend as regular oil pastels. Okay, they're China markers. They're not easy to blend like regular oil pastels. What you have to do is, I call it Gamsol paint. You have to either use Gamsol or baby oil. I love to use Gamsol the best. Okay. And what I do is I draw it out and I put as much color as I want down, and I mix the colors just like you do with regular oil pastels. You use them just like you use regular oil pastels. But when you get done with them, what do they look like? They look like acrylic. When you get done with them, especially, you know, after all that, you know, using the thumb and then using a little bit of Gamsol or baby oil to spread them out, okay? They look like acrylic when they're done. And they got that shine to them because they're wax. Okay? So, Neocolor 1s, if you're not really, if you're looking for, if you like oil pastels, try these. You're going to have to really, you can't blend them out with your finger. You got to use a stumper and blend them out. And you got to use oil to get out the scratch marks where you've been stumping everything. When you draw with these, this is my only setback with these, is when you draw a piece with these, it takes a while because you're going to really have to blend out the colors manually. Okay? It's all here, how you blend out the colors. But when you get done, it's worth it. I should have pulled out some of the stuff that I drew with these. But that's that. Neocolor 1. Again, I told you I have 36 set and a 72 set of Inktense pencil. That's another thing I love about Inktense pencils. I have every color that I will ever need. I have it. I have every color that I will ever need with Inktense pencils. 72 Inktense pencils Why do I have so many art supplies? But I'm glad that I'm into acrylic as well, because Inktense is naturally dark. Acrylic is always more vibrant and light compared to Inktense. And with the Inktense, after I get done scribbling, and you don't want to. I found this out, and I didn't find this out to this year. This is very important. When you use products like, these are ink, okay? These are ink. So when you use products like Inktense pencils, I'll put in the description that I did a lot of talking about Inktense pencils. But when you use Inktense pencils, you don't want to do it like you do like with watercolor pencils and color, like let's say you're doing the arm of a a person that you're drawing. You don't want to rub in the whole arm. These are too strong. You want to like put a little bit over here by the shoulder, a little line coming down the biceps, and then somewhere down here by the forearm, you want to put a little bit, and then you want to let the water do the rest because you're going to paint. You got to get out the water in the brush and paint it, okay? And then it won't be so dark. I found that out. That one of the reasons why my Inktense are so dark is because you can do that with Neocolor, because when you use Neocolor 2, and again, this is not Neocolor 2. This. I made a boo-boo. This is Inktense. It's not Neocolor 2. But with the Neocolor 2s, you can color that whole arm, and it'll just give you more, pigment. You can color that whole arm, and it'll give you a more pastel look. When you add more Neocolor 2 to your painting, if you like, make all the colors, go over, all over, you mix the colors and blah, 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 blah. It looks more like pastel, because that's what they are. When you use pastels, you don't just put a little bit here, you don't use just use a little bit here, because it's a pastel medium. You're supposed to, there's no, it's all oil, so you do the whole thing. Whereas when you use this kind of bindery, and acrylic works the same way. These work like acrylic. Like let's say you were painting something in acrylic, and you were painting an arm, but his arm, he's a white dude. So you got the colors of pink, and you have like a yellow there or something as skin tones for his arm. Okay, you want to mix the colors on your palette, and then you want to go in and you want to put a little bit here, up here, and a little bit down here at the forearm, and then go over it and mix all that color together, and then you have a good consistency. You don't want to color the whole arm and just, unless you're like using white paint, and then you're going to go over it with another paint and reactivate the paint. You can do that with gouache, but you shouldn't do that with acrylic. You know what I mean? You put the paint on in spots, okay? And then you go over it, okay, with other colors, or you go over it, you let the water do it. That's the difference between using the markers and it's hard to do that with markers, but paint you can do that. And then you use the water to go over that arm, and you'll get the better consistency that you need. And that's the thing that I like about the paint that I don't appreciate about the markers, is that I can use water acrylic is water soluble. So, you're able to use water to fix things, and to finish your painting, or to get the consistency that you need. Whereas with the paint markers, you don't have that. Even though the paint is really runny, and sometimes you want more consistency, and sometimes you want less, but you don't get that because you don't, and I found out when I was using water on these markers. Now, I don't know about Posca. I'd have to try it out, but was it Posca that I drew that one picture with? I don't remember. And I don't think it was Posca. I think it was one of these cheaper markers. But when you're using, where's it at? Here they are. When you're using water, here's my new markers. Just got these in day before yesterday. When you use water, after you put the marker down, you can get a paintbrush and tap it with water. It won't look as nice as if you just put the paint down and let it dry. So, you know what I mean? Now, if you use regular acrylic and you put the paint down, and then you wanna lighten the consistency, then yeah, it'll still look good because it's regular acrylic. But the markers, you gotta be careful. You don't want to wet them with a brush. The way I do it is, if I do use a brush, I dip the brush in water while the paint is still wet, and hurry up and pat it on a paper towel, and then go over it and dry brush that paint to move it better or to clean it up or whatever, because it slipped the pen or whatever. But I don't try to paint regular, I don't try to paint these brushes, these paint pens and these paint markers, okay, I don't try to do a lot of dry brushing because it kind of dulls out the paint a little bit, okay. Those are my newest ones. I have 30 here, 30, I have 30 plus 20 plus 24. We got a 4. We got a 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 74 colors. Now, between the no-name ones and the Arrtx, some of the colors are identical. But, you know, I think the Arrtx are the most creamiest ones. I meant to say in the last video, I think the Arrtx are the most creamiest. Okay. Arrtx. They have, and I forgot to say that too on the last video. Arrtx has a web page on Facebook. Arrtx. Right there. Arrtx. Right there. Arrtx. Okay. They have a web page on Facebook. And I went there yesterday. It's loaded. It's loaded. It's loaded. And so they have a lot of products, and they have a lot more acrylic products than what I have. Okay? Who's this mama? Woman, you better... Old woman, what are you doing? Get out of the camera. Okay? I don't know what she thinking she doing. All these old women trying to be... Wait till they on their deathbed to be fornicators and adulterers and do the prostitution thing. What? Stop. Just stop. Let me see if I can find it here without having to go through a bunch of stuff. Arrtx. There we go. Arrtx Design. See, I left that out too. Arrtx Design is the name. Okay? So... Get off. Let me see if... Okay. Yes, I am following. Type on it. There it is. There's the website. There's the website. Okay. And they show you all the products. This camera's killing me. Let me turn this way. Nope, that ain't helping. But they show you all the products and stuff. Look at that. Okay. So they got paper. They got watercolor pens. They got acrylic pens. They got chalk. Whoa. They got extra fine tip acrylic paint pens. They got 2-size double pack. Okay. Now here's all their paint pens they have here. I might get more of their paint pens. I don't know if I like them better than the Arrtx or not. I'm not getting you a good view there, so okay. But here's the Arrtx. These are really good. Got these in. But the flagship, I keep saying flagship, the Arrtx design, oh my God. The Arrtx design are really, 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 really different. They are even more creamier than the no-name brand and the Arrtx. The Arrtx design are more creamier. I meant to say that in the last video. And they have like natural colors, like orange. Like, I don't understand why there's always, with these acrylic pens and markers, there's colors missing, okay, compared to everything else. But, well, sometimes watercolor pens and stuff like that, they're known to do that too. I've seen reviews where people complain about that. There's, oh, where's my purple? My favorite color is missing. Okay, that just changes the whole video. My favorite color is missing. But I think I said enough about Inktense. Again, this is why I got an extra white pen. And you have all the colors you need with Inktense. And you don't use these. Again, you don't use these. You don't just go to town with them and just shade everything in and then go over it with water. You can do that with pastel. You don't want to do that with acrylics, and these are acrylics, okay, when you're using a wet brush, okay, or you're going to have more paint over here than you're going to have over here. But with these, you're going to make the color too dark if you use too much color. The more color you use, the darker it is. And I found out that, because when I first got them, I was, you know, just cover up the whole arm. And then when I went over with paint, it was like, wait a minute, the color's purple, why is it black? You know, no, these are really intense. These are Inktense. When they say Inktense, this is ink pencils that are very intense. Okay, you want to use them lightly. They should last you for almost ever. Just 72. A 10 of 72 should last you forever. Okay. Now, I've been on this video too long. I didn't think it was going to be this long. But now I want to go back here. Now, I never talk about my Posca pens. And I'm going to tell you why I don't, you know. Now, there are other brands. Here's the, these are all parts or cousins of Liquitex. Liquitex has these pens where you can buy the paint. You can get these inexpensive markers and put the paint in them. Let me repeat. You can get inexpensive markers and put the paint in them. Okay? And that's what I've done here. I bought a few markers, and these ones here, they got it set with these so that you don't even have to use regular acrylic paint at all. You can just use the Liquitex and pour it into these markers, which some of them are like bottles. Okay? And you do your backgrounds like these. I got a white, I got a blue. See how big they are? I have another big one in here somewhere. These are for backgrounds. Okay? And the paint is very light. guy told me at the art store that you use these type of markers for the background, because when you're working in acrylic, even with the markers, you're supposed to have this light colored background in the background. I never pay attention to that, but I will get to that. Okay. Also, another brand, you can get these at Walmart, and they're very good. They are like, to me, 100% Posca, and that's these painter's markers. Now, I've only seen a couple videos, and I had to look them up on YouTube where they talk about painters. Painters are just like Posca. You know, the same kind of nibs. They have the ball in there where you got to shake them up. Then you got to press the nib down on the paper. I have several painters. I bought 2 sets of painters of different colors when I first got into them. Here's another one that I took the label out. Oh, this was a painter. This was a painter. I took the, you can take the, all this plastic and labeling can come off of there, and where you have nothing but the lid. Okay, so that's a painter's. This is painter's. These are painters. I got a lot of painters here. What bothers me is Walmart sells like they don't sell like a whole palette of colors for painters. They sell like, okay, so I got a light green, a yellow. I got 2 types of red, a pink, a white, a orange. I got some colors in here that I don't have in the Posca. Then I also have these here, which, did I fill these? I don't think I filled these. I think I bought these. Oh yeah, I didn't fill these, baby. I didn't fill these. These are called, oh yeah, I did. It says empty, no, empty is the name of the name. Pump soft liner. Okay, I got these 2. One's black and one's green. Okay, and this has a fine point brush nib, and this one has a, like, I hate that nib. It's like a chisel nib, and it sucks. Oh, I have some metallic painters too. Here's a metallic one. They're just like Posca, but they have more colors. Okay? And here's all my Posca. Now, I have 2 sizes of Posca. I have, oh, here's another one from Liquidex. My favorite color, sienna. My favorite color when it comes to paint. Again, now this has a Posca nib on it. Okay? So I have that. The rest of these are all Posca. Now I have 2 sizes of Posca. Well, I got 3 because I got a couple fine liners in here too. You use them like you use like your regular, you know, Prismacolor fine liners, or your you know, what other kind of, whatever, you know, you use them like you use like a regular fine point, whoever makes permanent markers. Okay. Here's a finer point regular chisel nib from Posca. I have that size too, I forgot. These here, okay, here's a brush nib. Now this is a nice one. Okay. Oh, that's nice. That one didn't die out on me. A lot of these died out on me. That's why I gave up on them. Now with these brush nibs, they have this little clicker in the back. You still got to shake them up, and then you push that clicker on the back right there. You push that little trigger, and that's how the paint comes out. The trigger is up here instead of down here. Okay, with the brush pens. So I have 1, 2, this brush pen. I got that brush pen too. These ones here, I think it was the white that died out. I can look at these and tell that they didn't die out. So I got a green that didn't die out. I thought most of these died out. I got a blue that didn't die out. Oh my God, I got to start using these, because I still like my Posca, you know. Oh, I got pink that died. Oh, wait a minute, I don't even use these. You can look at these until I haven't been using them. What's up with me? Okay, I got a pink. What's this one? Here's a blue fine liner. Here's a black fine liner. I think those are the only fine liners I have. Oh, I got a metallic one. I can tell I ain't been using that. A silver metallic. You know, these are brush nibs. These are brush nibs. And people don't talk about the brush nibs enough. Here's my black brush nibs. I believe that one dried out. See when it starts to look. Oh yeah, that's as hard as a rock. Look, nothing coming out. Look. Look. Nothing coming off. That's as hard as a rock. If you know how to reactivate these, let me know. Now, I can shake this up, and I've done it the other day. Nothing happened. Okay? My white one was the one that really upset me because I use white for everything. I use white to fix everything. I have a white one in here. Here it is. This dried out on me. This dried out on me, and I'm really upset about that. And look, the bristles are so soft. They're not like them new ones I got where they have like they have like alcohol marker nibs on them. Like the same kind you use for alcohol markers. These are actual hair. And look what happens. They, you know, they fray easily because they're actual hair. So that's a plus for the cheap brands there. Oh, here's a red one. Oh, that one's not dead. Oh, so it's only the white and the black that died out on me. It's the white and the black. Probably because the paint is so strong. Wait a minute, is this the same black? Yeah, it's the same black. Died out on me. Here's a blue fine liner that I didn't even open. Or did I? Yeah, that's a blue fine liner. Black fine liner. What is this? This is black. Oh, that's a fine point regular nib. That's still working. I used that the other day. This is what Angela. Remember I showed you Angela Pan Art. This is what she uses. These fine point nibs. Here's a marker that I use along with my acrylic paints. This is, who is this? Is that the name of it? These are water-based pigment ink. It's basically acrylic. Fudenosuke. That's Japanese or whatever. Here's another one. This is a permanent marker, but it has like a Posca nib on it. You know, it's for bigger lines. Oh, these are my regular nibs. I don't have a lot of colors. Here's my only brown in the whole set. Here's my only brown. Sometimes, and that uses a regular nib. It works. I activate it. Now, let me say something real quick. The Posca pens, these two nibs right here. Is that hot? No, I don't want to use that one. These two. Yeah. The regular average side nib and the one that's a little bit smaller that's considered in between this and a fine liner. Okay? And you can see the caps are different in size. See, just slightly different in size. Okay? These two never die out on you. Okay, this is why a lot of people don't buy the brush or the brush, especially them hairy brushes. That's why they don't buy those, because these never die out. These will always work because you gotta, push the nib into the palette and you gotta shake each one up. And this is what I don't want to do this. You gotta shake every one up for like 30 seconds. Okay, and a lot of times 30 seconds ain't enough. You gotta shake them up. Okay? Gotta shake them up for 30 seconds, sometimes a whole minute, sometimes 2 minutes. It all depends on how long they've been sitting. Gotta shake them up. And then you press the nib. I'm not gonna do it. You press the nib into the paper. Okay? And it runs all over the place. Okay, that's why they tell you do it on a separate sheet of paper or a piece of plastic or a palette or something before you actually put it on your piece, because it runs all over the place. Okay, that's my setback about the Posca pens. Now, the pros about the Posca pens and these painter's pens is that they are more acrylic than these. Okay, they're more acrylic, but they're not as easy to use as the brush tip pens, the paint pens, the other paint pens. They're not as easy to use, and they're not as you know, they don't have as many colors. Okay. Now, what's her name? Angela just showed a video where they now Posca has pastel colors now. They do have pastel colors, but she uses Posca and another brand, and the other brand has all the pastel colors that she needs. So never limit yourself to Posca, but get the cheaper brands too. But like, what I love about Posca is I can take these and like, there's paint in here like it's sitting in a bottle. So you can take a palette, you know, like if I wanted to, I could pop this in this cup, okay? And then take the brush in there and use it like paint, because they're more acrylic. They're not quite as acrylic as acrylic paint, in my opinion. You know, the actual thick paint, the actual, you know, raw organic acrylic paint that you get in bottles and cups, and you know, but they are more acrylic than the cheaper versions of themselves. They are more acrylic than what they started, okay, than all these other brands that are following behind them. They're following in their footsteps. So I keep these, you know, like, you know, a gunman might keep a 38 special. You know what I'm saying? I keep these like, you know, a gunman might keep his 5th and Western, you know, or keep his assault rifle in the closet, because when it comes down to like the white, okay, and I got a bunch of whites in here. I got, well, I take that back. I got whites in all brands in here. I got, well, this didn't dry it out on me, so, but I got this white, works really great. I should have 2 of these. I'm surprised. I thought I had 2 of these. And I got 2 of them in the painters, and I got this white here too. So I got enough white. Let me put all these back in here. I got enough white. The point of having a Posca white is that these cheaper brands, as I said in the last video, these cheaper brands, the white is not opaque enough like it is in Posca. Posca pens, the white is more acrylic than these other brands. So when you need to go in and correct black, because you put too much black on your paper, and that's what everybody loves about acrylic. Like, you can just do a rough sketch to see where you want to go, and then you can go in there with another layer and starting to break everything down, and then go in there with another layer and another layer and another layer until you got what you want. That's what everybody loves about acrylic. But when you're using these pens, the white is not acrylic enough. The white works like a white, what do you call it? White alcohol marker, where it's used to lighten the color without correcting it. The white's not going to do nothing. Like if I put black down and I'm using the No Name brand. Okay, when I put the black down, no, I take that back. The Arrtx brand, the No Name brand has a good white. When I put the Arrtx brand down, if I think I got it right. I could go back to swatches and see, but I don't feel like getting them out. Because I'm closing. When I put the Arrtx brand down, or the no name brand down, and I put a white down there, okay, you can see it. The white only works if it's completely dry. But with Posca, you can go in and fix the white while the black is still wet. That's the difference between real acrylic and, you know, these pens. It's like you can go in and correct stuff while it's still wet. The Arrtx, I think it was, where even after it dries, the white does not go in there and really fix anything. Okay? But that's it. You know, a whole hour video, that's enough. I didn't know it was going to take this long, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. Please do not hesitate to watch this video. If you do, I'm going to do it over again. And I'm going to do several of them. I'm going to break them down in different pieces until you do watch them. Okay? But anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for watching D-Roy Cruz, Big D channel. If you want to get into politics, if you want to talk about Jesus, please look into my other, if you want to talk about business as well, please look into my other 3 channels. God bless you. Have a nice day. I will see you again soon with more.